So we're gonna start off focusing on this principle. I just call it folding pressure. There's a lot of different ways we can use this, right? So sometimes in jiu-jitsu you memorize techniques. Sometimes understanding kind of broad principles can be useful because you can apply them in a lot of positions. So the basic idea of what I just call folding pressure, it's basically the idea if we get this guy folded over, and I'm gonna show a few different ways we can do this, and I kind of lock his hips to one side by pinning a leg, it's extremely hard for him to turn back. So if this is locked down here like this, right? It's almost impossible for him to open the knee, okay? If his hip is a little bit more open, come back up here, right? If I put a little pressure here, he can open like this, right? So anytime that leg kind of tends to track too far over and you can get weight on it, it completely locks him out, okay? Once this happens, there's really, just relax, okay? Once this happens, there's really only one way to try to turn back, and that's for him to extend this bottom leg and then try to press on the floor and turn, well, he could turtle, right? But yeah, exactly, he's gonna open like this. So it puts him in this bad situation, okay? Now I can use this in a lot of different ways. Like in a Toriando, if I press and I get my body past the leg, you see, he can't recover. And now he has to start using that on the floor, but then that starts opening up, right? If I did the same pass, but I was here, now that leg can loop. But once there's enough force, he has to put it on the floor or he opens, okay? We can use this in folding passes. So I kind of weave the leg and I start getting my body weight on this. Really hard for him to recover here because my weight is locked on it, right? We can use this in a leg drag. If we end up here like this, once I get my body past a certain point, he can't recover, okay? So it's a big idea. So we're gonna look at a simple way of starting to do this. We're just gonna use it from this knee shield entrance. So we're gonna approach here. Big thing when we're passing is I don't wanna let one of his feet get in between me and him because he can always get his guard back. So we're just gonna kind of control a foot, get it out of the way. I'm gonna feed a knee shield. And I'm gonna kind of chill in this spot here, right? I'm just gonna grab the lapel. I keep this knee shield, grab the lapel in my left hand. I'm just gonna control the ankle. This is a really good rest position. It's hard for him to do anything. If he tries to grab my collar or something, I can kind of stiff arm him. He can't loop his leg over because it's stuck out here. If he kicks through the lasso, he's gonna give me a pass. It's a good trapping position, okay? So before we get into the pass, I just want you guys to kind of feel loosely this position. The big thing here is don't pressure, don't like try to drive into them to pass, don't be heavy, just kind of relax here. My weight's not leaning forward, I'm kind of more just relaxed like this, okay? So we're here, bring your legs up a little bit. See, I kind of grab the ankles or feet, right? And see, I kind of get the shield in, grab the lapel, and we're just gonna kind of stall here. I want you to feel this for a second, just a minute or so, feeling it, and then we're gonna start using this to transition into our first pass using this pressure here. I just call it a hip pin, and we'll start building from there. Okay, so just try to feel that position out and we'll build from there. Any questions? All right, let's go, 1, 2, 3. All right guys, so really quick, we're not gonna focus on the knee cut, but just so you understand, when I'm chilling here, if he overreacts and kicks this leg, which is what he has to do to lasso, he's gonna give me a knee cut pass, right? So that's the base thing that locks this guy in the position, okay? But what's often gonna happen is we're gonna be here like this, and now, instead of opening up, he just stays really far shielded. Like he really is trying to push me away like that with this, okay? So when this happens, what I wanna do is once it goes over a certain spot, I start slowly kind of dropping my ribs, my hip. This is why I focus on the principle first. Depending on how he's positioned, it could be my hip, it could be like my ribs, my chest, it can vary. I just wanna pin this because there's a point where if I pin this far enough, it's very hard for him to come back. What I'm gonna do is I'm quickly, when I release this ankle here, I'm quickly gonna catch this sleeve. Once I catch this sleeve, now my body weight can sit on top of his thigh. Okay, and this is the same kind of pressure I talked about, the folding pressure, right? From here, if he tries to open his knee, there's no way, right? I'm 68 kilos, there's no way to open the leg here. The only thing maybe he could try to do is bring that bottom leg all the way through. I'll let him do it. All the way out like this, right? Go back. But when we're here and I have the sleeve and my knees on the floor, it's very hard for him to do that because I keep this on the floor. And now I can't wrestle up because I have this, or this even better, and now I can slide all the way through and pass. Okay, so you want to learn to get that hip pressure, right? I can't always force this. It's part of a bigger system with the knee cut, but we're just trying to focus on this mechanic now, right? So I'm in here. You see, I start to feel the pressure. See, I'm getting my ribs on it. Feel that weight. Boom, I catch and pull this up. Now my weight's loaded on that leg. If he kicks the leg through, he just gives me a pass. Yep.
So you're not so focused on flattening his shoulders in this situation?
It's more about folding this. When I have this, the shoulder flattening will come later. In this case, it's just about folding this over, right? I mean, realistically, I'm not focused on going for any particular thing. I'm kind of chilling and seeing what exposes, but he's already here, so I can't flatten him, right? So he's exposing the hip pin mechanic. You see, so now I'm here, and now when I catch this, now that knee can't reopen, and as I come through, it's very easy to flatten with this pull and this push. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the first one we're gonna start with. Any questions?
So this is one you go for when they're already like
When they're really shielding hard, right? And sometimes they open back up, and I'm gonna show how to deal with that with the shin slide in a minute. Okay? All right, guys, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it's probably partly do it again. You do the whole technique. So I think the way he's doing it, you would just go for the initial knee cut, right? Here, film me with the camera. So look, I approach here, right? Realistically, this is part of a big thing. I want to make sure I keep this back. I don't want to let it get up high, right? So you see I'm here like this. Here I can start slowly sitting my hip on it. You see, but I can't let this up. I have to keep it back, right? Now, the next technique I'm going to show here, keep doing what you're doing. Like here, I can also shin slide. That's going to be next, right? But I can also sit out here, so keep bringing this up. Yeah, you see how I keep that, right? And then I got to catch this guy. And when you make this switch, you want to catch this. If you go slow, he's going to come up on the elbow, and then I lose the whole thing. So you got to catch it. So now we're going to look at the shin slide a bit. So what's going to happen here? We're going to be in this position here like this. I'm holding here with the lapel, left hand on the ankle. You can do the pant, but just be careful with the pant, because if the pant rides all the way up here like this, then it's really, he can grab my sleeve. He can grab my sleeve and break the grip, right? So when that happens, I usually just do the ankle, okay? So I'm here. Again, if he doesn't open too much, I can always go for the knee cut. So in this case, he's somewhere in between. I feel like dropping my hip weights really hard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be like this. Turn your side a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be here like this, right? And I'm going to use my shin to go over a shin. Usually when I do this, I'm kind of here, and I actually lift my foot in the air like this to turn over the shin. Now, as I drop this, it kind of folds him, and it allows me to get into this position here, okay? And see what I'm doing is I keep my chest in the same kind of position. I want to stay above the leg. The main thing is keeping that folding pressure. The big mistake people usually make here is they try to get too heavy too quick, and it's easy for him to push my shoulder, and then this knee will slide, relax. Okay, and then this knee will slide up, and his knee starts opening, okay? So what I want to make sure is I don't ever let that happen, because if I'm here and this knee goes up, then it can open and I've lost the position, right? So what I want to do is stay here, and I just kind of camp this position, so if his knee goes up, I can follow it. If he tries to push me with his hand on the shoulder, you see I have this counter pressure. So I'm just kind of chilling here, right? Now, once I go through, there's a couple different ways we can finish here, okay? The first one we're gonna do is just a back step, okay? So it's gonna depend on how his legs are, but I can just back step here. If I'm a little deeper through, sometimes maybe I go behind here, but I'm gonna back step, and I wanna keep my chest weight on the leg. If I rush like this, now his knee can open back up and it gets into a scramble. By keeping the chest weight here, when I back step, now open your knee, he can't. And it's very easy to follow that all the way through into the pass, okay? So one more time, we're here, right? Like this, controlling, see here, shin drop, boom, right? I get the chest here, right? Now I can back step if I need to, and I don't lose that chest pressure on the leg. I follow all the way through the side, okay? One more time. You can have a collar grip if you want. All right, so we're here like this. Right here, have a little more tension in your body. And so, yeah, he's like this, kind of push with your shield. Like turn your, yeah, like there, exactly. You see? Cut down, and immediately I try to get this side angle position, control. See there, got that guy. And come through and pass. Another point with this is as you approach, you can do the shin on shin immediately. So if I'm here like this, be like that. So sometimes I could just set here immediately and go to it, right? Or here, like that. Here, I bring my leg up, like that. Drop the chest, and come through. If I'm here early on like this, and then he doesn't stay too far over, then the cut will become easier to do, right? But today I'm trying to focus on the folding pressure. Quick point here someone was asking about. is like once we're here, so when I'm here, right? So I start to come up, right? And I hike my knee up to try to get this. If the person's overextending early like this, then they're just gonna give you a cut, right? So again, you have to read the situation. So we're here, exactly like this, right? So we're here. So I hike the knee up and I go over. So a question someone was asking is when I'm here, could I take this hand and come up here and grab this? You could, but it wouldn't be my first choice. The main reason is as long as my chest is here, I already have the folding pressure. And when I release this leg, now this foot has potential to try to come out. And then even if I clear this, yeah, that can start coming in the way. So I want to keep that foot out of the way. I keep it kind of pressed back. It's not pinning downward, it's more pinning backwards like this, right? So now as I come back here, as long as I keep the chest weight here, it's very hard for him to open back up. He starts overextending the leg even, like that, and it gives it in, see, and then this is out of play for lassoing. Okay, and that gives the pass. So now we're gonna look at the second pass here. So we have the same position, and now what's gonna happen is I feel like I can come up and catch this sleeve, or elbow even better. So if I get the elbow now, I just elevate this. This flattens his shoulders, and then if I can, even best is to dig under this. Now he can't turn back to his right. Turn to your right really hard. See, it's elevated. Right? And now I bring this knee up, capture, and I can progress up to the mount position, okay? It's a leg weave to the mount. So again, we're here. Maybe he's knee shielded early. Could even set this early, grab, drop, and I start cooking the position and see where to go. If I feel like I can catch that sleeve and I'm deep enough through, I just catch the sleeve like this, I pull up. You could finish with this, but if I can, I always hike up to this. And again, the big thing here, now I want to get my knee ahead of this, right? Ideal is if you can catch this because then he can't frame. Sometimes if you like crossface, he can use the, relax. Okay, everything's slow. If I crossface here like this, he can start pushing on the left and it becomes annoying. When I get this, now he can't push. I capture there and come up directly to mount. So the more sideways he goes, the easier the shin slide, because now I can't knee cut because I can't get rid of this. But then this is going to become easier, right? And you see I hike my leg up really high like that to capture that. But if he stays high, like up here, it can be hard to get that, but then this becomes easier to clear and come in. So you have to rotate between the knee cut and then hiking it high. So we're here like this, right? We shin slide and we're here. So sometimes we're going to be here and we wanted to keep them kind of folded, but they open their knee back up. So you just mess up somehow, okay? Now we're going to kind of end up in this HQ position. If you guys are newer, maybe some of you don't know that position, but it's just a position where I have one leg trapped in between. It's often called HQ. Okay, there's a lot of cool things we can do here, but a really simple idea once it opens up is I can just grab the lapel and I'm gonna fall out to the side here and just try to club and pass to the other side. It's a very common situation. There's other things we could do, but this is a simple one. Right, so we're here, we try to fold, he opens back up, boom, and just fall out, club, and go. Okay? If you can knee cut both sides, another cool thing you can do here is when he opens up here, I could try to switch to a knee cut on the other side as well. But if you're not ambidextrous with it, there's nothing wrong with the folder, or the long step here. Right, so we're here, boom, come in. You see how I lost the pressure on the folding pressure? Right, so now he's opened up here. Okay, I'm just gonna move out to the side a little bit, grab down the neck, fall out on my hip like this, and now I can club and pass. All right, guys, so now we're gonna do some specific training. So this is something we use a lot at this gym. I know we have new people in this class. The best way to develop a position is starting at the end first, right? If you guys try to use this whole system, it's a lot. So try to find the spot that's like almost completely finished already and work back from there. So if you guys are new to this, maybe a good one to start with would be the first one we did where we were here, but instead of starting all the way out here and sparring where there's a lot more involved, maybe start with your hip all the way down and you already have this. Of course, this is already almost completely finished, right? But if you can't finish it starting here, you're definitely not gonna finish it starting all the way back out in full open guard, right? So start from here, and this will develop the pattern of understanding what it's like to finish here. There's a lot you can mess up here too. You know, you keep your hip too high, you could come through and not control right. So just try to do that. That's a good one. Another great one you guys could start in would be already shin slided and here with your chest down like this. And then start sparring and moving from here. That's another good one you could do, right? If you wanna like even regress that one a little more, you could start here with this guy all the way up, already locked up here. I know that seems ridiculous. It's like you're already finished, but if you just patch those finish points, the further you get away from the end, the more possibilities there are to go wrong. So if you start in the almost the full amount, it's like you already won. There's like one variable, right? It's very easy to finish. When you start all the way out in the beginning, there may be 20 variables. Like they could turn this way, they could do this, they could do that. So if you guys get really good at like the endpoints on the front end, you can kind of improvise and make stuff up. But once you get onto that endpoint, you're going to be able to grab it. That's how you get good at jiu-jitsu. You find the endpoints and you just get really good at finishing from there, okay? So anytime you learn a new position, try to think of how could I regress this to like the easiest version, get good at that, and then scale back.